Runner's mobility routine. I love this. You can do this 3-4 times a week, as much as you like. Keep it in flow. It's like a yoga flow for runners. Each movement blends into the next. First position coming into is a downward dog with pedaling, stretching out the calves and moving into the hips, anchoring down through the fingers. Engaging the lower core to draw your hips up more. Lengthen the back side of the body, open up through the chest. Take a deep breath in through the chest, heart area. Feeling that expansion in the rib cage. As you exhale, drop the heels down. Feel that length all through the hamstrings. We're going to step the leg forward, getting into the hip flexor. And here we're going to go a little deeper in the hip flexor by raising the arm up and tipping it over to the side. Really stretch over. And as you take a deep breath there, really feel, you can feel it into the deep core and the obliques. Swoop that arm around, coming into a half split. Now ease into this one with about 3 breaths, lengthening through the spine, melting the belly onto the thigh without forcing or pushing. Drawing the right hip back as you bring your nose forward. And then you can repeat this position 3 times, tipping over to the right. Each section with about 2 to 3 breaths. Really lining up the hips, drawing that right hip back as you lengthen your upper body forwards. We're going to lift up, and from here, move into lower body into like a warrior 2 position, really focusing on opening up the hips. Now you can interlace your fingers to add in the opening of the chest and shoulders. Draw the belly button in. Opening up through the arms as you bend forward with that knee. Back leg is straight with that foot turned in. You're going to inhale as you rotate the back foot. Exhale, come to a forward fold at the top of your mat. And just feel the length through the body, through the backside body. Slight knee bend to support that back. Contract the core. Slowly raise up. Now here we're going to close the legs before we come to the other side. Inhale the arms high. Half moon, such a great one here for opening up the side of the body into the obliques as well, and opening up so we have more space to breathe. Diaphragm as well really can open up so it can expand more. Inhale and exhale. So lifting up, leveling both shoulders. So you're going to bring the bottom shoulder forward a little bit to line up and that right hip forward. Legs are like one piece. Inhale, lift. And exhale, coming back down. Now let's step back to the downward dog again. Come back to the pedal. Then we're going to go through that other side, really focusing here on the calves. Think of the muscles you want to open up. a little bit more. Calves and your hamstrings. Now let's step that left leg forward, moving into the hip. Inhale, both arms up. Exhale, tip it over to the left side. Opening here into the hip. Deep breath in. When you take that deep breath, you can really feel it deep in the hip flexor. And roll it down, moving into the half split. Going to draw that left hip back as you lengthen the upper body forward. It's like you're melting down, covering that thigh like a blanket. Roll forward, inhale high. Tip it over. And bring it back again. Opening up now from here. We're going to raise up into that warrior two position. You can add the arms out, you can keep them on your hips. Just focusing on the inside of the thighs, and we're opening up through the front hips. And then you can go for the depth. If it feels good, go down lower. Back leg is straight. Foot turned in a bit. Nice and long. Interlace the fingers. Lift up that chest. Now release the fingers. Turn the back leg. Inhale. And exhale, coming forward. Forward fold. Yes, feel that length from the hips all the way down to the heels. Press through the heels, slow rise up. Close the legs like you have one solid leg, like a lamp post. Inhale. And now tip it over again. We want to do this one twice. Lengthening. So I feel this stretch from here all the way up, touching, opening through the rib cage. So the whole breathing system has more space. Inhale. Lengthen, reach your fingers up to the ceiling so you're realigning that spine. And then to the other side. Oh, so good. So this, I feel into my hip flexor too. Feel all down into that side. Moving. It goes so deep in the hip and the core. Inhale high. And And now we're going to step back and let's move to the floor into a few cobras. Legs together like one cobra tail. Roll the shoulders down and back. Come into a cobra. Hold it. Draw those shoulders down. Lengthen and strengthen. And now, if you want to bring it up into an upward dog. Opening through the core, realigning, lengthening. And now push up. Stretch back, press the fingers forward, open. Allow your forehead to melt into the floor. Take 3 breaths to open through the heart, chest area. Rolling, coming forward to the top of the mat. Into Yogi Squat Malasana. Feet straight or feet flat down, spine tall, hands in prayer. All right, so we're moving into more hip work here. So first, we're going to do a 90-90 hip stretch. So here, we're gonna move it. So 90 in front, 90 back. Flip, go to the back side. Flip, come to the front side. Adding a forward fold. So we're doing it a little more dynamically before we actually hold it. So consider this your 2 to 3 minutes of hips. Come up on the knee, raise the other leg, bent, and you're just gonna keep the body stable as you roll. Have that range of motion in that one side. Just notice what happens in there as you lift up and around. And you're gonna bring this leg forward into the pigeon. Give it full 3 breaths. Now feel around and breathe into where it needs it most. And remember from this, if you want to feel a little more, you can bring the leg out a bit. That goes a little deeper. Feel a little less, bring it in, or put a blanket under your hip to elevate it a bit and melt. Pushing up, coming on to all fours, trying the other side. Lift up and just round out, just getting that circular activating through the glutes. Keeping the rest of your body strong and stable. Really kind of getting that full range there in the hip. Now bring the leg forward, back into pigeon. Adjusted, that feels good for you. Inhale, lengthen. Now taking the leg back. Next position. So this is like a kipping forward. Toes on the ground, hands back. It's going to stretch, open up through the knees, bringing more range of motion through those knees and stretching down your thighs. So you're going to lift up, tip the knees forward and move back. Tip the knees forward and move back. Lift up, allow the knees to go to good depth and move back. Shh. All right, next one. Okay, for this one. Now you're going to allow for more range of motion in your ankle. We're pulling this in. We're leaning on top of that knee, coming forward. See how I'm kneeling here? So to give a little extra resistance, I can push with my arm. I'm going to lift on the toe and lower, drop down. Lift up. Stretching in the lower part, working on the mobility here. Other side. See, bring in the net. So I'm not totally lined up. I'm bringing the foot, the heel, so it's a little further back. Lift up. So when the heel lands, it's in that stretch position. Okay, so coming to the final staff pose, regular. Hamstring, lengthen. Take 3 breaths, lengthen through the spine. Take your energy and breath flow to where you need it most here. Release again. One more. What's really important is the mobility of your ankles. So being able to sit flat so your ankles can go right down, pointing the toes behind you. And if this is easy, then you just take it a step further and leaning back a little more and lifting up. Last little thing we're going to do with foam roller. Little foam guy here. Okay. Little foam. So hamstrings. Place it under, right at the attachment. And we're just going to roll nice and light, coming to the knee and back. Just up and down the muscle. Turn the leg in. And using your hands and your foot to take off some of the weight. Turning to the outside of the leg. So get a little more of the IT band. And when you feel an area of like a knot, tension, put it there, take some weight off, and just take 3 breaths. Allow it to dissolve. So stay on that point. Allow it to dissolve. Maybe move around a little bit more. Find the position where you feel it most. Take 3 breaths. Allow it to dissolve. Okay, so making sure it's not too hard. This roll is softer than some of the typical black rolls. So find something that is not too hard of a pressure.